What's up, people? It's Mr. UV, aka Mr. Ultraviolet, and we're back with another video on Super Fighters Legend of Shenron. Alright, today in this video we're going to be covering a small tier list type video. It's more of a who's worth putting resources into at the beginning of the game, because later on you'll have access to the URs. Alright, so there's a quick disclaimer. We will not be covering any of the URs at the moment of this video. I'll do a separate on them because pretty much all of them are worth putting resources into at the beginning, and then half of them you only have access if you spend maybe about $2,000. So you access the Super Saiyan 4s and the KO Berserker mode through the VIP. The SS Blue Goku and Vegeta, you can get them in the first event, which happens to show up I think on your 4th day or 4th day logging in. The event will appear. Both of them will appear the same day. Another thing we'll be doing, we'll be covering all the characters at their max stats. So we'll be looking at them in the archive tab and heroes, and this will be max stats, so max damage, HP, all that good stuff. Alright, so in this one we will be covering attackers, and then we'll go tanks, and then we'll end with the support. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it, and let's go ahead and start. One other thing to note, I'm not doing the characters in any specific order. Okay, so I'm not saying that he's number one. It's just I'm listing down the characters in order that they're listed on the list. Okay, so the first guy is SSG Goku. He's a Kai master. He has low HP, high attack, average defense, average speed, high damage. All right, some things to note is that he does massive damage. He has self heals on his first passive. He lowers the enemy special meter and their attack on his ultimate. He also has a chance to counter attack on dodge and increase damage reduction the more teammates die. Alright, so this unit right here is a great unit for your team. You might want to look forward into, maxing him out as quick as possible. Okay, the next character on the list is SSG Vegeta. He's a brute. He has high HP, low attack, average defense, high speed, and low damage. Alright, but don't let that low damage and attack fool you. This guy is a monster. Alright, some things to note. He can stun you on his basic. He could also stun you on his ultimate or special block you, which stops you from using your ultimate. He also has a chance to come in every round with full special meter. So he can actually special every round. It is a chance. It's not that high, but he does have the ability to do it on his first passive. As well as on his first passive, he has Defiance, which pretty much means if you hit him and drop him down to 0 health, he will remain with 1 HP until he takes another turn. So if you constantly hit him once he's in that Defiance mode, he would not take any damage despite what it is. The only people that can actually kill him in that form, they have to have the skill Execute. Alright, now on to the next skills. Things to note about him: he also increases his damage reduction, and he has an AoE special or ultimate. Okay, so when you look at that, he can actually put the special block on all of the enemies that he hits. Alright, so this guy is very, very good. That's why he has the low attack and damage stat, because he has massive sustain and he has stuns on all of his attacks. Okay, he is definitely worth putting resources into. Let's get into the next character. Alright, next one is Janemba. Alright, he's a Kai master. He has low HP, average attack, average defense, low speed, and high damage. Okay, so some things to note about Janemba: he puts a shield down on the weakest ally, whoever has the weakest amount of health or lowest health. He can put a shield down on him with his basic. He also can self-heal with his ult, and he cannot receive more than 8% damage of his max health. So 8% of his max health is the cap of damage that he can actually receive. So if you hit him with massive amount of damage and it's more than 8% of his health, he will not take it. It would just be that 8%, and that's on his first passive. All right, Alright, next character of note is SS3 Goku. He's a Kai Master. He has average HP, low attack, high defense, low speed, and average damage. Alright, things to note. He has a stun on his basic. He also can hit and kill the weakest enemy with his ultimate. So he's a snipe killer. Alright. He also does extra damage on characters or enemies that have debuffs on them. That's on his first passive. As well as he can also increase his ult damage. Alright. So if you have somebody that can do massive damage but not finish them, this character will automatically come in and finish them for you. Okay. Next character on the list, SS3 Gotenks. He's a Kai Master. He has low HP, average attack, average defense, high speed, and high damage. Alright, this guy does massive damage, especially early in the game. Alright, so early service, he's going to do a lot of work for you. He does massive damage. He also has a guaranteed stun on his ultimate. Alright, the more debuffs they have on him, the enemy, he does more damage. He's really strong because that guaranteed stun is not a 20%, 15%, it's guaranteed. He will always hit and stun the person on the back line. He also was a support killer. When he uses his ultimate, support characters will take extra amount of damage. As you can see, it says an extra 19%. Alright, now the next character on the list is Kid Buu. Alright, well, we'll go SSR Goku first. He's a Kai Master. He has low HP, high attack, average defense, high speed, and high damage. Okay, he does extra damage against tanks. He also puts down a weakened debuff on all his attacks. He also has the Defiant skill on his first passive, which basically means if you kill him, he won't die. He'll stay with 1 HP until he takes one more turn. And he also has the Execute skill that can bypass the Defiant skill. So if they're in Defiance mode, the Execute will automatically kill them or take it out. Doesn't matter if they haven't took a turn yet. Also, the way Execute works is when he drops you down to 36%, he will automatically finish you off. No matter how much health you have, if it's at 36%, he's automatically ending your life right there. Alright? Alright. Next person, we got the Boar. He has average HP, average attack, high defense, high speed, and high damage. Alright, some things to note. He has high stats. He also has a stun on his ultimate. He puts down debuffs on his basic, and it's pretty much like dot damage over time. But he also can cash that damage in based off of his second passive, which in hand gives him even more damage. And he also has a high crit rate that's also in his second passive. Alright, don't be confused by this character. Just because he's not one of the Saiyans and all that, this guy has some of the highest stats in the game, and he's able to put out massive amount of damage. Okay, so he is worth putting resources into, despite if you might not like him. Me personally, I think he's a cool character. Okay, now next person on the list. All right, so we're pretty much going to go into like an honorable mention that's worth speaking about, but you don't have access to him pretty much when you first start the game. The only way you can actually unlock this character early on is if you buy like $100 pack and he's inside one of the boxes. But it's SS2 Gohan. He has average HP, average attack, high defense, low speed, and that's on purpose. He also has average damage. All right, he also has some of the highest stats in the game for the SSRs. He also lowers the enemy special on his basic. He also can add extra damage to Kai Masters. He does extra damage to him, so that's pretty much your DPS. All right, he also can block the enemy special on his ult. He also does extra damage to him on his ult. All right, so he also can increase his attack whenever an ally takes damage. That's on his first passive. So if anybody on the team is taking damage, Gohan's attack is going up. As well as he also gets extra damage and damage reduction anytime an ally dies. So while they're taking damage, he's getting more attack. When they finally die, he gets more defense or damage reduction as well as more attack. So pretty much this guy's a monster in late game. He's also a monster if he's like the last person on your team. He definitely will capitalize off of that. All right. Now all the other characters, they're pretty much good and decent. But the thing is, they have to go on like specific teams like a dodge team or like a crit based team or dot damage type team or debuff teams. I'm not saying they're bad, I'm just saying there are better options. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the tanks. First one is Golden Frieza. He has average HP, low attack, low defense, high speed, and high damage. Okay, things to note: he does extra damage to Saiyans. That's on all his attacks. That's basic and that's ultimates. He also, you got to think about most of the characters in the game are Saiyans, so that's pretty much a guarantee he's going to get that. Also, he does extra attack for every dead ally, and he also gets extra special meter. All right, that's on his passive. He also heals every time he fires off one of his basics, so he got a heal on his basic that comes with his first passive. He also does damage. He doesn't receive damage that exceeds 4.5% of his max HP. So if you hit him and you do massive damage, if the damage is more than 4.5% of his max health, he would not receive that damage. Okay, he also was immune to debuffs when his HP is above 50%, which is really good. Also, when you attack him, he basically puts down like a bleed effect on you. So he also has dot damage. If you look at it, Frieza is a really good tank. So he's able to put out good damage, just dot damage and all of that, and double damage on Saiyans, which is majority of the characters in the game. And he has that does not exceed his max health skill. Next person is Uuwatsu. Uuwatsu has low HP, high attack, average defense, high speed, and average damage. Okay, his basic, he basically puts down like a defense down. He puts him like in a weakened state. That's on his basic. His ult, he also puts a shield on the weakest ally. Well, 2 allies on your team. So 2 allies on your team that has the lowest HP, he'll put a shield down on them. All right, he also has a chance of counter attacking when he receives damage. He'll hit him right back. That's on his first passive. He also heals himself every round. On top of that, when he drops to 30% HP, he will heal back up to 40%. So that's real good on a tank, especially a tank like Uuwatsu that does massive damage. Okay, next we got Fat Boo, or in the game they call him Innocent Boo. He has high HP, average attack, low defense, average speed, and low damage. He heals on his basic. He can heal up to 63% of his damage dealt. He also can put a shield down on the whole team with his ult. Now, once those shields are down, he will increase the team's attack by 7.5%. That's on his first passive. He also heals himself every round. That's on his second passive. Now, when he drops down to 40% HP, he will heal himself back up to 50%. That's on his second passive. So basically, him and Uuwatsu are kind of the same. All right, they pretty much have a lot of same moves, but that goes hand in hand with the lore in the game. Okay. All right. Now the next character we have on the list is Metal Cooler. Okay, Metal Cooler has high HP. He has average attack, low defense, average speed, and low damage. Okay. Now he increases his defense every time the enemy misses. Now he hits them with his basic, and anytime that they miss, he'll increase his defense. On his ultimate, he lowers the enemy team's accuracy. That's an AoE attack, so he can lower the enemy team, pretty much the whole team, their accuracy, which also, protects him and allows him to get more defense, as well as make more of your damage dealers and support stay alive longer because the enemy's missing all their attacks. He also heals himself after being attacked. That's on his first passive. He also has a chance to counter attacking when he does get hit. And also, when he misses, when the enemy misses an attack. Okay, he also can heal himself when the enemy misses an attack, and pretty much this character can become immortal the longer the game goes on. So in the late game, if you start hitting like 10 plus rounds, and he's still alive, you pretty much lost that match, because he's just going to keep healing. He's going to keep increasing his damage. He's going to keep on increasing his defense and lowering your accuracy, and you're just going to keep on missing and just making him more and more stronger, and it's pretty much just like a loss at that point. This guy right here is probably the best tank in the game that you can get, I would say, as a free-to-play player, because he's like a green. He's one of the basic colors: green, blue, and red, and most of the other good tanks are either purple or yellow, which are harder to get. Okay, now we'll go into some more honorable mentions for the tanks, and the first one is Bagarmo. All right, Bagarmo or whatever. All right, so this guy, he's good. He has average stats. He has good skills, but the thing that comes with him is he has a taunt on his basic, which attracts a lot of the damage to him, which is good for tanks. But in this game, basics do like massive damage, so you're pretty much going to have a lot of, duplicates in him. He's going to have to be, leveled up a lot. He's going to have to, have a lot of resources into him to be able to compensate for all that damage that he's receiving. All right, unless you pretty much, run like a dodge team with him. So if he gets one shot, or he's not as strong as the enemy's DPS, he's pretty much a useless tank. He's not going to be able to do what he actually needs to do. He's not allowing his skills to actually get any value out of him. All right, and then you have another one that I would say is an honorable mention on the list for the tanks, and that's pretty much King Cold, Frieza's father. He pretty much suffers from the same thing. He has good stats. He also has a taunt, which is good to be on tanks, but once again, because basic attacks do so much damage, he's attracting a lot of that damage to himself, and he's going to have to be on pretty much either a dodge team, or he's going to have to be a lot stronger than the competition just to be able to, live long enough for his skills to actually initiate. Like, you can look through, he has the self-recovery, but it only activates when he dodges. So if he's not on a dodge team, he's not going to be able to heal himself, to keep up with the amount of damage that he's receiving, because he's taunting. All right, so that's pretty much it for the tanks, and we're going to go ahead and move into the supports next. Okay, first one on the list, we got Android 17. He has average HP, average attack, average defense, high speed, and average damage. Things to note: he has pretty much even stats all around. They're pretty high. All right, he also has a stun on his basic, and his ultimate, he puts shields down on the whole team. These shields also increase damage reduction, and they heal the team. So pretty much he's a great support character. He allows the team to live longer, give them survivability as well as heals, and he basically has some type of control as well with the stun on his basic. Great character, great character. All right, we're gonna go to the next one, Uuwatsu. He is low HP, high attack, low defense, low speed, and high damage. All right, all that high attack goes hand in hand with his heals. Let's go into his stats. He has heal on his basic. He can heal one person on his basic, as well as increase that person's attack by 12%. He also heals the whole allied team on his ultimate, and he can also lower the enemy's attack. All right, that's on his ultimate. All right, and then on his passives, whenever a person dies, when he dies, he heals the whole allied team. So whenever he finally dies, everybody in your team that's still left alive will get a heal. So pretty much he heals when he dies, he heals on his basic, and he heals on his ultimate. So he's all around healing. That's why he has high attack, so his heals are going to be higher than pretty much everybody else's in support. All right, he's a great support character, especially if you're looking for heals. Only thing he's missing is a revive. He just can't bring people back. Which leads me to the next person on the list, which is Okai. All right, let's go ahead and find Okai. Here we go, Okai. Sorry for that. Now, he has high HP, low attack, average defense, low speed, and low damage. All right. Now, despite of him having, trash stats, he does heal on his basic, and he also can revive a person on his ultimate. Now, if they're dead, he'll revive them back with 34% of their max HP. And if no one on the team is dead when he, initiates his ultimate, he will then heal whoever is the weakest ally on your team. All right. And on his passive, his first passive, he also increases damage reduction when he heals you. So whenever he heals one of those people on the team or brings them back to life, because he heals when he brings them back to life, they're also going to get that extra damage reduction. So pretty much this character is an all-around healer. He also can revive people back from the dead. All right, so he's a great support character. He does exactly what you need him to do and what you're looking for from support. Okay, now the others that's on the list, they are limited. Okay, the others that's on the list in the roster, the other supports, like Zamasu and all of them, and Ribrianne, they are somewhat decent characters, but they're either lacking in their heals, or they just one-dimensional characters. All right, so with these other characters, you're gonna have to run an extra healing type of Shinron skill, or you're gonna have to bring in a revive skill with the Shinron. So that's why I didn't list a lot of these other characters, because they're pretty much one-dimensional. They're a support character, but they're not really supporting the whole team. They might support themselves, but they're not going to be able to support the whole team. And even if they do heal, the heal isn't all that good. So you're going to have to bring in extra skills from Shinron and just to compensate to do their job. Now, Ribrianne is a good support character. You're probably wondering why I left her out. She is a good support character, but the problem with Ribrianne is that she's a wheel type, which is pretty much like the yellow kanji or whatever. With that being said, it's hard to get duplicates of this type and resources, and they're better off in other characters.